We're first going to start off by just talking a little bit about first term advising. We're going to talk about advising in general and what you can expect from your support team, um, during your attendance here at Post. Okay, so on our agenda today, we're going to talk about what is academic advising, a little bit about the student portal. Some of you, I'm sure, have already started and are just getting familiar with the portal, but we're going to go a little bit more into that. A couple of tips on how to navigate Blackboard. So we're going to do a live demonstration, a few computer basics that we find, especially when students are starting, often find very helpful in some of their first assignments over the first couple weeks. Then we're going to just leave you with a couple of best practices, just as advising that will really help set you up for success moving forward, especially in your first term and onward. And then to wrap it up, Anna's going to actually discuss with you all how to get involved. Now that you're a student, beyond just being a student in class and interacting with your students that way, there are a lot of other ways here at Post to get involved. We've got groups that you can join beyond just, again, the interactions in class with your classmates and students. And then at the end, we are going to briefly open it up for some questions and answers. All right, so what is academic advising? So now that you've started, you now are going to be working with a academic advisor. Now, before I get too much into this slide, I do want to mention for those that may have just started, if you haven't heard from your academic advisor yet, you will. We are actively reaching out both this week and next week to connect with you and introduce ourselves. Some of you may have already been connected with your advisor. If not, rest assured you will hear from them over the next week or two. And until then, if you have any questions, it is the same phone number for everything. So you can continue to call in. Advising is open 7 days a week. We're open 8:30 to 8:30 weekdays. And there's always someone here at least 10 to 4 on weekends, Eastern Standard Time. So with that said, for your first term, you have a academic advisor as a part of your support team. So what they do is work closely with you, as well as your previous admissions advisor to kind of help you as you transition from admissions to advising. So they're going to be, speaking with you about classwork, how to get started, providing you support throughout the first term in terms of like weekly assignments and just general support. And they'll also be following up to get you to connected to financial aid if you're still working through that process and have documents you're still completing. Once you earn your first 3 credits here at Post, that's essentially your first term. So once you pass one of your courses for your first term, then you're going to move on to another advisor. So your current academic advisor for this term is there just to help you get started, to kind of get you over from admissions and get you acclimated, into your course schedule for your first term. Okay, so I talked a little bit about this, but once you've earned some credits here at Post, you are then going to transition to the next applicable advising department based on the amount of credits you have. So to kind of break it down and, give you an idea of how advising works throughout your entire program here at Post, you'll have a total of 3 advisors throughout the duration of your program. So you'll first have a first year advisor, first term advisor. That's what for your first term. Then right after your first term, you're going to move on to a first year advisor. Now this advisor will stay with you between up to 21 credits. So pretty much your first year. That advisor as well has more specific knowledge about your particular program. So if you're in a business program, they only work primarily with business students. They're going to have more knowledge about some of those first year courses where you start to get in a little bit more into your major. Then after that, towards the end of your first year, you're going to transition over to your last academic advisor. And this is called a career and programmatic advisor. They help students who have earned over 21 credits, and they stay with you all the way to graduation. So they're going to help you pick out those and complete the requirements for your degree, the final courses. If you are in a program that requires a internship, what's called a practicum, they'll be providing you information on that as well. And I should say, similar to first year advisors and also first term advisors, they have specific information and expertise in the program that you're currently in. So they're going to be able to provide you more specific advice on your program, in addition to helping field questions you may have as you finish your program, such as, say you're conducting a job search. We have a Center for Career and Professional Development and support services that do provide guidance on job searches, resume building. So they're going to help you with all those things, in addition to letting you know when it's, when you're up for graduation and coordinating with you if you want to come to the graduation ceremonies as well. Okay, so we talked about the 3 different academic advisors you'll have throughout your program. So next we're going to talk just a little bit about what is academic advising. So essentially, what can you expect from your advisor? What kind of questions can you turn to them for? If you need specific help. So as an academic advisor, we help with a lot of different situations that may come up with students. So a couple of them are listed here. I'll just go through those quickly. One is program changes. Sometimes students may start off in a program and you decide maybe you want to change your major. That's actually a pretty easy thing to do. We can help you with that. You would just reach out to your advisor and they would walk you through that process. We also help you understand your degree plan. So for many of you, this may be new to you, or you might still be just learning about specifically what your degree has to offer, different career paths and potential, even career and job opportunities outside of work. Your advisor is there to kind of give you a better understanding of the program outcomes and how this degree is going to help you. And, once you graduate. And so we welcome those questions. If you still have questions about your specific degree, your academic advisor will be able to help you with that. A really big thing we do here as your academic advisor is we get you registered. So this is a big one to remember, is that we will always make sure, your advisor, that you're in the correct courses term to term. So towards the end of each term, we make sure that you're at least registered out a term, typically 2 or 3 terms, in the courses that are required for your degree plan. So every degree here, the courses are designed to be taken in a certain order. So your first year, you take what's called foundation courses. Your first 10 courses is what's called your first year experience. So we make sure to get you registered in the right courses. Your advisor will share with you more information about upcoming courses. With that said, if you are curious, you can call in, we'll confirm that. And also, your academic advisor can make changes. So let's say you want to take time off. Maybe you want to go from part-time to full-time, or vice versa. Your advisor can also make those changes for you as well. Okay, in addition, we do refer you to different available resources throughout your attendance. So I always say to my students, if you have a concern or a question about an assignment, give us a call. We want to talk with you first and see if we can help you out. And from there, if you feel you maybe need additional help, we'll get you connected to the right resource. That could be tutoring. Our tutoring department is open every day except Saturday, but we can definitely get you connected with them. And we have a lot of other available resources as well that you'll learn about over the upcoming weeks that we can connect you with as well. Blackboard and portal navigation. This is a big one for new students. You're probably just now, getting kind of acclimated to Blackboard. There's a lot of features in there. We know a lot, students have a lot of questions about Blackboard, how to find their courses, how to navigate inside the course and the menu. We can help you with that. Your academic advisor has access to your courses. So beyond just Blackboard, we can also assist and answer questions that you may have about your individual courses and assignments as well. Review of grades and instructor feedback. Every week, your professor is going to grade your week from the previous week. In the class, they do leave you notes, comments, things like that, week to week. But we can cover that with you. If you have any questions on how to improve or where to find that information, we can definitely walk you through that at any time. Student advocacy. From time to time, you may have a concern or a problem. We can definitely help with that. Sometimes students have questions about, their grades or why they received a certain grade. We can definitely offer, some direction, and especially in emergencies, I should say, as an advocate, if something happens, like God forbid, end up in the hospital, or, say there's a weather incident, you don't have internet or something like that. We are more than happy to reach out to your professor on your behalf if you have an emergency. Weekly check-ins. So we do try to reach out and touch base with you at least once a week to see how you're doing. Of course, you can call in before that, but keep in mind you will throughout the term, your advisor will be reaching out to connect with you as well. Just general support. Review academic standing and progress towards degree. So at any time, if you have questions about how many courses you have left or when you're projected to graduate, we can share with you that information. And as you move along, your advisor will continue to update you on how you're progressing throughout your degree plan. And then last but not least, understanding practicum requirements. Now, not every degree here requires a practicum or what's commonly referred to as an internship. Some degrees do. If you have questions about that, feel free to reach out. But if you are in a program that does have a practicum requirement, at that time, your advisor will be sharing with you the information on how to go about fulfilling that requirement, to complete your degree. So that's essentially the major areas that we cover. Next, we are going to just quickly show you a video to kind of give you an introduction to how to access and navigate the student portal.
Hi, everyone. So my name is Anna. As Tom had mentioned before, I'm the team lead of first term advising here at Post, and I'm excited to see everyone here. Before we go ahead and play this video, I did want to ensure, I have to reshare my screen actually to include the sound so you can hear it. So I'm going to stop sharing for just a moment and I'll reshare. But I wanted to ensure everybody was aware because some had questions with regards to the microphones. Now, we will be opening this up for questions, but to ensure we get through the entire presentation, if you do have questions, continue putting them into the chats, or you're welcome to raise your hand and we will answer them in accordance. So give me one moment while I reshare my screen and then we'll go from there. Can everybody still see the screen okay? Awesome. All right. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and play our video.
Walkthrough of the Post University app, where students are able to utilize this feature in many different ways. Their student hub, they can get into Microsoft Office, Teams, their student email, as well as other resources available at the university. So the first thing we want to look at is what is on the homepage. As you can see, you have Blackboard, student portal, student email, Teams. The biggest thing to remember is that the Blackboard tab, it will not open and you'll have to download the Blackboard app from your phone's store. But you can still access Blackboard by going through the student portal. Before we get there, let's scroll down a little bit. You can see that they have areas for community and belonging, where they have student groups, clubs, communities, and events. They have Post Athletics, the campus store, then a variety of student resources we have here at Post, such as SOAR, You at Post, the Center for Mental Health and Wellness, the Center for Academic Success, online student workshops, as well as the Center for Career and Professional Development. They also have the Online Student Government Association. If students were to go into any of these, as an example, I will go and click on the Center for Academic Success. This will list their phone number, the emails for both the Writing Center and the Center for Academic Success, as well as a brief synopsis of what that is. And as you can see, there are also hours of operation for the center, as well as their email below, where students can request tutoring requests. They also have some wonderful resources at the top, some basic resources on APA. They have a link to the online workshops and tips on becoming an organizational all-star. You can click on the view all, and you can see all available resources where students can then take a look into this deeper. What we've been provided for workshops is also available in the app for students under the Center for Academic Success, where we have the entire schedule for the term in here available for students. Although this does appear to need to be updated by Dave, so I will make that note for him. Going back to our main page, let's go into the student portal. When guiding students into Blackboard, I would recommend, especially if they're on their phone, go through the student portal. And then, as you can see, we do have our entire portal here. We have the My Classes, email, Student Hub, My Team, where they can connect with their admissions, financial aid or academic advisor. Additional resources at the bottom, such as Title IX, disability services, university calendar, and more. For the purpose of getting a student into their classes, though, once they're in the portal, you'll click on My Classes, and they will be directed into Blackboard itself. So there's really no need to actually download the Blackboard app, but it really depends on the student's preference. Once here, you can see a list of different activities in the activity stream, but we don't see the navigation like we normally do on the browser. You'll want to click on the 3 lines at the top, and you'll see everything here. You can then click on Courses, and you'll see the list of courses available for the student. Well, the students, this is what the student's going to see. Click on the course itself, and then it does take them directly to the page. To find the navigation menu, there is a circle with a small arrow pointing to the right. If we click on this, this will bring out the menu on the left-hand side, where they can see all of their units, their discussions, they can get into My Grades, they have their resources, everything available to them. So let's go into Unit 1 for a moment. As you can see, the menu does rehide. They'll be able to access the resources. They'll do their documents. They'll be able to do their posts on here. They can watch videos from their phone. Very intuitive. Let's go to Introduction for a moment. And now that this brings them into the forum. At the top, you can see Create Thread, Display, Tags, Subscribe, and Search. They can click on Create Thread, and this is what we'll be seeing. At the top, you can see a little bit of the forum description as far as what needs to be done. This is not going to be applicable for all assignments, obviously, like the journals that you would have in CTC. They would still need to do their message. They can type it in. Well, this is actually introduction. Unit 1, we'll just say introduction. I was getting ahead of myself. So there's the introduction. And then they can put their small blurb down here. They can attach files on here if it's on their phone, whatever the case is. And then in the bottom right-hand corner, you'll see submit, but you can see it starting to get cut off a little bit. So you can actually flip your phone to the side, resize it, and you can see submit a lot easier, which will help students overall. I'm just going to cancel this and then resize. To go back to Unit 1, click on that little arrow, click on Unit 1, and there is everything again. They can get into the resources, they'll be able to get access to everything. If you have any questions about the student portal, please let me know.
All right, everyone. So I know many of you were saying that that was a little bit laggy. So hopefully I'm not laggy. But as far as the student portal is concerned, we're going to do a little bit more of a walkthrough on this as well on the actual desktop computer. And then next we will be doing a live walkthrough of Blackboard. So hang tight. We're going to be getting to that next. I'll pass it off to Tom as far as the Blackboard coverage is concerned. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and just escape this for a second. Let's see if this will close for me.
Walkthrough of the post.
No, that's not what I wanted. There we go. I'll just minimize this for a moment. Okay, so we're going to do this. And I'm going to bring up the student portal. Now myself, I'm actually in my master's courses, so I'll be logging into my personal one. So hang tight while we take a video of this. But if you can let me know, please let me know if this is still laggy. Tom, am I laggy on my side? Are we okay?
Just a little bit, but for the most part, I can hear you.
Okay, yeah, keep me posted as far
we're
as
getting
that's
a little
concerned.
interference.
Okay, my apologies, guys, if it's the internet. So, but we will get through this. We're going to get here. Okay. All right, so everybody's a little bit becoming familiar as far as getting to their landing page when it comes to seeing my classes, my email, and my student hub. Now to access Blackboard, you would go to my classes. To access your student email, you would go to my email, but we are going to click on my student hub. This is an important part of what you're going to need to know so you're handling your files appropriately. So as you can see, there's a lot of information such as your program of study, financials, holds and alerts, student standing, advisors, classes. You'll see your upcoming courses for future terms. But over here on the left-hand side, there's academics. Here, you'll be able to see where your unofficial transcript lives. If you need to see what your future courses are, that's where you can see that, or you connect with your academic advisor. They'll be more than happy to go over that registration with you. My recommendation in week 6, definitely connect with your first term advisor to ensure that we have all of your registrations correct. So keep in mind. The next area is forms, and I'm going to click into here because there is an important form that we do need all of you to complete if you haven't already. This is the student demographics data form. It's housed right here under forms in the student portal. The student demographic data form allows us to understand our student populations on a deeper level to ensure that we're able to provide future programs for our students that we may not already have is something that we can add in the future based on the information we're collecting. So the more information that all of our students can provide, the better. So if you haven't already, make sure to go to Forms under Academics in your Student Hub, and then click on Student Demographics Form. Here, it takes about 5 minutes, and you'll be able to get that submitted, and we'll get that instantly on our side. Okay? Other things that you'll find in the academics area, you'll see the university catalog. You can search a course if you needed to, get access to tutoring help, ID verification, things of that nature. Your student profile, this is an important area as well. So in the event that you need somebody to speak on your behalf with regards to your file, you would need to fill out what is known as a FERPA form. It's very similar to what HIPAA forms are in the medical profession. They are not allowed to share or speak with anybody that you have not given consent to. Same applies with your education. We aren't able to speak with anybody else besides you, the student. So make sure that if you do want somebody in the event of an emergency, something happens, it's always better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. So take a moment to explore this area to fill out your FERPA form. It will actually be located in the forms area as well, towards the bottom. So we're just going to scroll and you'll see program study update. Well, I might have passed the FERPA unless they moved it. Should be over here. Petition form. There it is. Under forms. So it'll be FERPA. And you'll want to manage settings and go from there. The other important thing to note under student profile is your student profile. Say you change your phone number, you move, anything of that nature. In order to update that, you'll want to go to your student profile. It will guide you to a new page, and it will be a fillable form you can do right there, and it'll be updated with the registrar's office within 1 to 2 business days. So if you have an updated phone number, anything of that nature, make sure you're filling it out here. You'll also see your student number. You'll be able to see your program of study. So all of that is really important information you can see, and you'll be able to fill that out. There are other areas inside of the student portal, like the student finance area. If you need to do financial aid documents, if you need to access your 1098-T form, which is important since we are going to be entering into the new year here shortly, once it's just like a W-2, we have until the end of January to be able to get this into your file. So if you have questions about it, check here. If you don't see it by February, definitely call and speak with financial aid so we can get that going. But everything should be good and in your portal to be able to access the information.
Hey, Anna?
Yes.
Yeah, so we do have someone here saying they can't find the student profile. Can you perhaps maybe just show where that is again?
Of course. So let's go back for a second. We'll start from the landing page. You want to ensure you're clicking on My Student Hub. And then once this page loads, on the left-hand side, you'll see your navigation menu where you see academics and then student profile. Here is which will direct you to where it says you are leaving the portal. You'll press continue and it will take you back into the form where you can submit it online after you've updated everything, and it will directly be sent to the registrar's office for it to be updated on your file. Did that help?
Yeah, I think, yeah.
I hope.
So it looks like we got some good feedback. While you're in there too, we have a question, how to find unofficial transcripts in the Student Hub.
No problem. So if you're looking to find your unofficial transcripts, under academics, you are going to click on where it says unofficial transcript. Now, you can view by enrollment. Many of you, this is your first time here at Post. I've been here for a little bit, as you can see. So if you are coming back and a returning student and you just want to make sure that you are in the right program, if you did a program of study update, you might have to make sure that you're selecting the correct enrollment. But once you do, you can click unofficial transcript. So as an example, I'll bring up my old one since the other one is kind of active. It will download a PDF that you will be able to view. You're going to save it. And now you can open it. And this will show you your entire transcript. Again, this is unofficial. So if you did need anything with regards to an official transcript, that would have to be requested through Parchment to be sent directly to your new institution, things of that nature. Additionally, if you have transfer credits, you want to ensure you are requesting those official transcripts from the university be sent directly to Post University Registrar. Once an official transcript passes hands, it's no longer official because there are risks of tampering, things of that nature. For security, we want to ensure that official transcripts are sent directly from institution to institution, and it would have to go to the registrar's office directly. Okay. But that's pretty much it for the student portal, before I pass it to Tom, was there anything else that anybody wanted to explore a little bit as far as the Student Hub is concerned? I see JR. Tom, would you allow his mic? James?
Yeah, I can try to. James, if you don't mind putting the your question in the chat, but we'll also try to unmute you as well.
Yep. Now, while we work on that, so everybody knows, take a few minutes to explore. You want to explore this a little bit. If you can see under student profile, you'll also see that there's the document center. So sometimes you might have to load documents. You can go to your document center to be able to see all the required documents you would need, anything missing, anything that needs to be submitted, things of that nature. Okay. Under the registrar, you can see a GPA calculator. You can request your transcript here. Again, if you want to request an official transcript, this will direct you back to the POST website, to the registrar's office, and to Parchment. Okay. Our student resources, there are a few things like the helpful mobile apps, health and wellness. Our software hub is really exciting, especially because you get discounts based on being a student. We have our student services where you can get access to a lot of our services we have here at POST. Our student employment, IT support, you can explore all of these areas. And then even here, there's a quick link. So say you needed to get to Blackboard and you didn't want to go back to the other tab. You can click here. If you need to get to Office 365, you can click it here too. You'll see like little quick things. And then there's also the virtual campus, which is really nice. You can explore the virtual campus a little bit. It's going to take you to a new page. And apparently it's not going to let me do that. So if you guys are having that same issue, maybe mention that to your first term advisor, and that way we can see about letting our workshops team know, or at least letting IT know that that link is not working properly so we can get that updated. It could just be because I have a bad connection at the moment. Not entirely sure, so we'll keep you posted. Did James put his question in the chat, Tom?
Not yet. I haven't been able to, maybe you could check the audio settings, but I will answer. We did have a question here about transcripts. So we do understand that sometimes schools close. Some of you may still be in the process of getting your transcripts here. A few things to keep in mind. Now that you're an active student, we absolutely can evaluate transcripts from another university. So if you want to try to attempt to transfer credits in, that's always an option. However, once you're active, we will need the official transcripts in order to conduct an evaluation. That's a separate department, but once the official transcripts are received by us, they usually get evaluated within a few days, and then your advisor, your academic advisor, will be sending you a degree plan with confirmation of any courses that are going to transfer over. If you happen to have attended a school that is no longer open, so say for instance, it's closed, that does happen actually quite often. So we do not order those transcripts. However, we do suggest contacting the Department of Education for whichever state that school resided in, so that your state's Department of Education will know where you can place that order. Sometimes they'll be able to take the order, over the phone. It may be something they're able to handle. If not, they'll direct you to where that school that closed, where those transcripts have been housed, and who you can call in order to place an official order and have them sent to us. So I hope that helps a little bit with understanding transcripts. But even if it's past the first term, please keep in mind that is always an option. We definitely encourage you to get your official transcripts to us. We don't want you to take classes you may have already earned credit for. It's just that we will need the officials sent here. If you have any questions about this process, feel free to give us a call and we can walk you through that as well.
Right. One last thing too, just so because I did see this in as well, and just to kind of follow up on what Tom was mentioning, we do have a policy here. If you wanted transcripts to be considered here at Post, you would have to get your official transcripts in before the end of your first term. So just making sure that we, try and put some speed on there if you do have transcripts you would like consider to ensure, like Tom said, that you're not registered for classes that you aren't meant to be in, to ensure that your registrations are appropriate. If we don't get them, we will be registering you for your next classes, so the sooner you can get those, the better. But with that said, I'm going to play, because there's a little bit of a lag, Tom, I'm actually just going to pass it to you.
Yeah,
So that way we can
yeah,
walk through
definitely.
the Blackboard
Maybe
since it was a
that'll
little
work
bit
a little
laggy.
better. Yeah,
Yeah, I'd rather not
yeah, it's a
waste
little
the
choppy.
time doing the video. So
Not a problem.
I'm gonna go ahead and
Yes,
stop
sorry
sharing my
about that, guys.
screen.
I hear it too. There's a little bit of a popping sound today, so not a problem. I already have
Yeah,
Blackboard up, so I think we're good. I'm gonna jump right
okay.
on, and then we're gonna go right into Blackboard. I'll give you a live demonstration. Hopefully this helps a little more, so you can get an idea of what Blackboard has to offer, and just some of the options in there as well. Okay, so I'm gonna share my screen really quick. Anna, can you see me? Everybody see me?
All good.
We're
You're good
good?
to
All
go,
right,
Tom.
awesome. So as Anna was showing before, I know the video was it was a little bit laggy. When you first log in, this is what you're going to see. You see what this is called the student portal. This is the main landing page. You've got your My Classes 90% of the time. This is what you're going to click on when you first log in. You got your student email. I do like to mention about the student email. You get important updates there. So like definitely things about financial aid disbursements. You're going to get emailed from your financial aid. Often students have questions around now and the next coming weeks. It's a good idea to check your student email at least once a week. We covered the Student Hub. There's a lot of documents in there. Anything we covered today, or if you have questions, give us a call. We can walk you through that as well. But with that said, once you click on My Classes, the next page is what's called Blackboard. It brings you to this page. So Anna kind of was demonstrating a little bit of what Blackboard looks like. When you first get to this page, you'll know you're in Blackboard because you'll see your purple menu on the left side. That's how you know you're in Blackboard. And it always defaults to something called activities. You may have noticed that every time you log in, it says activities or activity stream. So that is just a announcements page. It's not where you access your courses normally, although you will see some short links to get to assignments, but the activity stream is just an announcements page. As soon as you get to Blackboard, you want to click on courses right below that. Now my Blackboard will look a little bit different than yours does, but essentially they're set up the same way. You're going to want to click on courses to access your course list. Before we do that though, I did want to draw your attention to a link at the top called the institution page. So everyone should see this when you log into Blackboard. It's basically a huge resource for everything post-university. So a lot of the stuff we talked about today, like the university catalog and policies, you can find that all here. But what you may find most helpful and what we would definitely suggest exploring over the next week or two in your free time is the student resources. You can find everything here from the institution page, 24/7 tech support. It's just that. That is student IT support. When you click on it, it's going to take you to the IT's website. Most importantly, though, the contact information, the phone number is right below. So let's say you have an issue with Blackboard, you're getting an error message, you can't log in. You can call IT support for help. There's a bunch of other things they help with as well, like resetting your password. If you're having issues with accessing any of the content in Blackboard, they can help with those types of issues. And again, that's 24/7. So we recommend, it doesn't matter what time, just give them a call if you're experiencing technical issues. There is a link to the library. So as a student, you actually do have access to our virtual library database. In your first two classes, you're really not going to get don't really need to use this. You will though once you get into your more advanced classes like college writing, but feel free to explore this. It's a huge database with all kinds of resources. You can find books, articles, journals, essentially anything that you would ever need to write a paper. You do not need to go to a physical library. You can definitely find it in here. So that's where the library is. There's a couple others here, but the last one I wanted to show you is called the Center for Academic Success. Anna also touched on this briefly. That's essentially tutoring. It's called the Center for Academic Success. Now you can always call us directly and we'll get you connected, but if you want to talk directly to them, you just click on the Center for Academic Success. Again, it brings you to their main website, on our website, I should say, their page, but you can find all their contact information below here. So just as a reminder, as I mentioned, the Center for Academic Success or Tutoring is open every day except Saturday, and they are open into the evenings as well. This is Eastern Standard Time, but Monday through Wednesday, they have the longest hours. All you have to do is call. You'll see their phone number here. You can also email them if you have questions about a writing assignment or need help. You can email them as well. We suggest just calling them. So the way they work is with tutoring, when you call, if there's someone available right away, they'll assist you in the moment. If there isn't, they're going to let you know what times they have available coming up over the next couple days. And once you agree on a date that works for you, they are going to schedule you a tutoring appointment. You're going to get an email reminder as well. In that email reminder, it's going to let you know who your tutor is and when you're scheduled for your tutoring session, and then they will call you at that time. Typically, tutoring sessions last, I would say on average, about 25 minutes. Depending on what you need help with, some can be up to 45 minutes. If you think it's something you may not need as much time, that's okay. They still, are more than happy to assist you. Because you're just starting off though, we do recommend just giving us a call and advising first. We'll chat with you about what your concern is. Often we find with students starting, you're probably going to honestly have a lot of questions about your assignments. And those are things as your advisor, we can definitely help you with, at least in terms of finding the instructions and just some basic information about how to complete your assignments. If it's beyond that and you find yourself, you start to struggle, that's when you can, call tutoring or, again, just call us and we'll get you connected at any time. So we went over the institution page. We talked about the activity stream. Lastly, in Blackboard, we're going to just talk about courses. So when you click on courses, I'm not in a course right now, but you're going to see your course list here. Most of you are going to be in CTC 101 College Success Seminar listed here. And then also, if you're in two classes, typically your other class is going to be CIS 110, Digital Skills for College and Career. So we suggest when you're trying to get into your classes to do it through Blackboard and then click on your class. And then as soon as you click on your class, the screen's going to slide to the right and then you'll be in class. So hopefully that kind of gives you an understanding of what Blackboard's all about, just some of the links there, just to help get you, kind of acclimated and make it easier for you navigating Blackboard. All right, and I'm just going to pull up the presentation again. All right.
Okay. Doing okay, Tom?
Yeah, okay. I am. I'm actually going to try to pull up for you guys a class example too. So we can, certainly go over some of the menu in the class as well. But yeah, and I believe, we can pick up with the presentation.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
Let me go ahead and reshare my screen. Before we do, I did see James had a question. So I think this might have been from the one before. Is there any type of way that they want us to submit a discussion board? So Tom, when you do have that class up, maybe we can come back to that.
Yeah, definitely. I'll do that right now. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So while we do that, then I'm going to go on to our next section. Now, many of us, this may be the first time that you're using computer, you're still familiarizing yourself with a few things, and we understand that and why we wanted to just go over some computer basics. Now, keep in mind, we do have other workshops where they go into like computer basics a little bit more. So keep in mind, you are welcome to join those workshops. Again, they are not mandatory. It is not required. There's no grading, no attendance is taken, but it is a really great opportunity for you to be able to, immerse yourself with a lot of different areas so you can be successful overall. So some of the things that we're going to do is go over, your desktop overview. We're going to review taskbar, icons on your taskbar, how to pin them, your start menu, your search function. We'll go into different types of web browsers that are, applicable to Blackboard that work the best with it, such as Google Chrome and Microsoft Edge. We'll go into different functions such as control, copy, and paste. What to do if your mouse pad is not responding on a computer, as this often happens. We'll go over a little bit about OneDrive and how to access the cloud. So I'm actually going to stop sharing a little bit so we can review all of these together. I'm going to stop the presentation for just a moment. Now, this here, your main page of your computer, this is what's known as your desktop, first and foremost. You can save things to your desktop if you want to. As you can see, there's different folders up here. I have Microsoft Edge as well as Google Chrome here. And then down here, this black bar, this is your taskbar. Here is where you can actually pin different programs to your taskbar. For example, this is a snipping tool. This is something that you can just take a quick screenshot of something. I have it pinned here for purposes of just taking screenshots. I pin this from my taskbar. I'm going to close this, and you see it goes away. But maybe I want to keep that up there. This is your search bar on your taskbar. And what you can do inside the search is search for snip. You bring it up, you'll see snipping tool. It will bring it up. And then to pin this to your taskbar, which could be for any program such as Google Chrome, you could do Edge, you could do Word, PowerPoint, Excel if you have the desktop versions, things of that nature, Teams if you want to be able to work with your other classmates. But to pin it, you would right click on the icon itself, and then you're going to see where it says pin to taskbar. So now when I close this icon doesn't go away. So that's going to be a big one. Okay. So the other thing that we wanted to review a little bit is saving to OneDrive and uploading to Blackboard. We're going to get to that in just a moment. And in that moment is when I'm going to go over copy, paste, things of that nature. But when you're using Blackboard, the best browsers to use are Microsoft Edge or Google Chrome. For those of you using any kind of Apple products, whether it's a MacBook or if you're using an iPhone, Safari is usually the most applicable to that computer, but keep in mind Blackboard is more accessible with Google Chrome or Edge. So if you haven't already, definitely download one of those browsers so that way you'd be able to use it accordingly on your MacBook. So let's go ahead and look at your Windows. This is your start menu. Now we just had a really big update to Windows 11, so just make sure if you needed to search your computer for anything in particular, you click on this start menu. It's going to show you a lot of different programs, those that are pinned. You can also search inside of here as well. So that is going to be your best approach to be able to find things on your computer if needed. Say you needed to find your control panel. Control panel has a lot of different functions in here. You can see system and security, network and internet if you're having issues, hardware and sound, ease of access. There's a lot of different areas. Primarily, you're not going to be using this too much, but say you wanted to change the size of the screen. You can also use this to enter in display. So you can actually change your display settings. Another useful feature. You can adjust the brightness. If you want to put night light on, your color profile, change your background picture, change the size of your computer. You do a layout. You can go here. You can also click on advanced display. You'd be able to see a little bit of information with regards to your computer. Okay. So really get to know your computer a little bit more. So let's review do Word, PowerPoint, Excel a little bit, saving to OneDrive, uploading to Blackboard. Many of you may be in a CIS 110 course or even higher level classes if you have transfer credits. So it's important to make sure that you're utilizing this to the best of your ability. And that said, I'm going to open this up and go back to my portal. Here is where you're going to be able to access Office 365. This is complimentary to our students. You do not have to pay for it. Remember to access it by logging in through your student portal because you want to ensure your student email is what is associated with the program. If you've had Microsoft Office before, to sign out from have to pay for that. So right now I'm just waiting for this to load a little bit. But you can also see Word, Excel, PowerPoint. So when you first open it, it's going to take you to Copilot. That is the AI function for Microsoft 365. On the left-hand side, you'll see where Apps is. And over here is where you can access all of the different apps inside of Office 365. If you do not want to use the online versions, you can blue button over here, and you can elect to download a desktop app. All you'll have to do is click on Microsoft 365's apps. You'll click on this and it will download them all. I have desktop versions. That's what I prefer. Sometimes I will use the online version as well. It just really depends on the ease. But you're able to download them there and go from there. So let's open Word for a second. And I'm going to use the online version just because it's a little bit easier. It's not going to take up too much, like really any space on your computer because you're using it through the web browser. You'll just be using it through the internet. When you're in here, you will have to create a blank document. It'll ask you probably to verify, have you sign again in as a student, and it will open up a blank document for you. Now we do have a CIS workshop that will be running on Wednesdays this term. If you're interested, it will be at 6:30, starting in week 2, so next week. We have CIS professors that go in and they will do walkthroughs of each of the assignments for the class. If you're interested, please definitely join us for that workshop so that way you have a little bit of extra support. Now to save to OneDrive, I'm going to just do a quick, hi, this is Anna at Post. I just need to have something on here. You would go to File. Where it says create a copy, there's 2 options. You can download a copy and create a copy online. We want to create a copy online. This will connect to your Office 365 cloud for your post-university profile. The next thing you need to make sure of is where you are specifically saving this inside of your OneDrive. So I'm just going to do a quick hello from Anna at Post. I'm just going to put that in there for the title. However, for the majority of you in your other classes, say this was an assignment. You like Unit 1 assignment for CIS 110, and then you could put maybe first initial, last name, something along those lines. You want to make sure it's specific so that way you can find it easily. That's the big one. Okay. Now, the location. I have a documents folder, and many of you will automatically have one as well, but you want to be specific. So click on where it says choose location and then more save locations. Here's where you'll be able to specify where this file is going to be saved. Now, if you don't have any folders, it's pretty normal. I've made a few on here as examples. I'm going to make another one. Over here where it says new folder, you can click on this. I'm going to make this a blue folder just for ha-has. You can actually color code your folders. So say you're in an active class, you could put it in a different color so it stands out a little bit more against the rest so you know it's your active class. But I'm going to say this is for CTC. I'll say CIS. That's what I did it before. CIS 110. Okay. And we can also put the term. So it's term 3. And I'm going to put the academic year of 25-26. You would create, Here's my folder. Now, we still haven't saved it yet. We've just designated a place for it to be. So we've made a folder inside of the Documents folder, and now we can save here. My document is effectively saved. Now, if we were to go to class, now I am not obviously in CIS 110, so I'm going to do an example of how to properly upload this, find this in OneDrive. So give me one moment while I log into my class so you can see this as an example. Once you're inside Unit 1, say this was for an assignment. Click on the title. And now you can see there are areas where you can create a submission. Here is what we want, this upload file section. So you click on this and it gives you a drop down where there are 3 different options. When saving to OneDrive, specifically the way we just did, you're going to browse Cloud Service. You'll then click on OneDrive, connect to OneDrive, so that way it will connect to your files. Now we're going to find that lovely folder I just made, CIS 110, Term 3, 25-26, but we don't want to click on the whole folder. Click on the folder itself, and then click the assignment to select. So there's my assignment. You'll import this, and here's the assignment we just did. I am not going to submit this, but if by chance you uploaded the incorrect file, click where it says do not attach and press OK. It will remove that before you submit. This way you have an opportunity to be really specific. Okay. So, but once it's up and you see it's attached, it's the correct file, you can press submit, and then you'll be able to see inside of your migrate section if something has been completed. So the last thing we're going to do is go over a little bit of copy and paste. So let me go back to this document for a second. In order to copy and paste something, you'll need to select something. So if you click your mouse at the end of a line, hold it, and then you drag your mouse to the area that you want selected, let it go. You can press Control-C and Control-V to paste. Another way you can do that is by right-clicking and clicking Paste. Hit Allow. If you wanted to copy it, right-click. You can copy. And again, you can paste. So I'm going to bring up my thing over here. These are the functions. And Tom, I don't know if you want to take a quick screenshot of this to put it inside of the chat, but I'm going to make this a little bigger because we are pretty much with going over all the things we wanted to in this section. We'll move on to the next. So I'm going to make this a little bigger, get back to computer basics. Here we go. So on your keyboard, this is your CTRL button. You would press and hold this and then press C to copy. To paste, you would press and hold CTRL and then press the letter V. Now, finally, the last thing that we're going to review is if your mouse pad stops working, it's not responding, nothing's moving. My recommendation would press the FN button that's next to the CTRL button. You can press that. And then you'll press F6. That should release your mouse function so that way you're able to use it again. So just keep that in mind. And with that said, I am going to pass it over to Tom, where he will be reviewing best practices.
Yeah, and then I can jump right into Blackboard. So I know some of you will have questions about this week's assignments. We are going to go over that really quick. So there's a couple of best practices, though, we're going to leave you with. You'll see up here just things that we find that are most helpful for students that succeed in terms of just kind of implementing with your schedule and, certainly with your classes. Communication's big. So certainly, we want to make sure that, you get timely feedback when you need it on assignments. And a big part of that is letting us know when you need assistance. Give us a call if you're not sure as well who to talk to. But when it comes to questions on assignments, your professors are your main mode I would say your main point of contact. You can email them. You can also, many of them have office hours. You'll find that in the class on the left side. But when you have concerns about your classes or your assignments, we definitely suggest reaching out early to your professor or advisor for assistance. Early participation is key weekly as well. So the only thing that's due week to week, the only assignment, that's due week to week is the discussion board on Wednesday at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And all other assignments are always due by Sunday at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But you can always submit things early. We definitely recommend getting a jump start on the reading on Mondays and Tuesdays. And if you can, try to get your initial post in a little bit early, just so that way you're not rushing on the deadline. And that will help you, especially if you're in 2 classes, to ensure you get your first post in both classes by Wednesday. Always be professional. So certainly when you're communicating with your professor or anyone else and you have concerns, keep in mind you do want to keep it professional. And don't be afraid, of course, to ask for help. We expect it, especially in the first couple weeks. It's, for us in advising, all hands on deck, so to speak. We expect the calls to come in and we want to help you in the moment. So if you're finding that you've got an assignment, that you're confused about how to complete or what the instructions are, definitely don't be afraid to ask for help. Again, give us a call and we'll walk you through it over the phone. Okay, so that's best practices. This is just a couple of other things to consider, some best practices for each day of the week. We covered some of these, so I won't go through each of them, but I will mention on Sunday, every Sunday, class does open up for the next unit a little bit early. So you don't have to complete anything, but you can take a look at the reading for the next week, Sunday afternoon. So that's a good habit to get into if you have free time to kind of take a look, get a jump start on the next week's assignments at the end of the week, if your schedule allows. Of course, we mentioned Wednesday with the deadline. And then also like to mention on Saturday, Saturday is a good day to check in for the discussion board. Check your own posts to see if your professor has responded. Make sure you get those 2 posts in by the end of the week. And also make sure to answer any questions that your professor might ask as well. Sometimes the professors will respond to you and they'll also include a follow-up question. So you want to make sure to respond to those as well. Saturday is a good day to, be in the Blackboard and, keep the conversation going and checking your posts, before the end of the week. So those are just a couple of highlights, hopefully tips to kind of help you throughout the week. So now that we've covered that, before we open the question, actually, we're going to talk just briefly about the class itself. I'm going to share my screen before we get to the end of today's presentation and talk about how you can get involved here at Post. But let me just share my screen really quick as I am logged into the class. So many of you are familiar now, or getting familiar, I should say, with the class itself. And when you first log in, what you're going to see on the left side is your gray menu. If you don't see this, it's maybe because it's collapsed. So we always recommend looking for that gray menu. And if you don't see it, Check your screen to see if it isn't collapsed. Sometimes that can happen. To open it, you'll have to click on this little arrow to open it up. If you're on a phone, so when you're using a phone or a tablet, the menu may also not be open. If you're on a phone or a tablet, look at the top. You'll see a circle with an arrow in it. And when you click on it, it will then open up the menu. But if you're on a PC, if you're on a computer, it should be open for you when you first log in. So there are just a couple of really brief things that I want to mention about navigating the class. When you first log in, it's always going to land on the announcements page. The announcements page gets updated usually once a week, so it's good to read through this, but the announcements page is just that. It's typically just an announcement from your professor. They'll share with you information. Often they'll just have a little bit of a snippet, a recap of last week. They'll give you a little heads up on what to look out for the upcoming week. Just keep in mind, every time you log into class, it's going to first default to the announcements page. And then to get to the corresponding unit, you have to click on the unit in your menu on the left side. So of course, for this week, we're in Unit 1. That started Monday, and that's going to run to Sunday. You can access the other units, but you don't have to complete anything. In fact, you won't be able to submit any assignments until that week is open. So for Unit 2, that'll be next Monday, but you can check out the reading. Just keep in mind the only thing you actually need to complete is Unit 1. And again, that'll be running up until Sunday at 11:59. So college, CTC 101, College Success Seminar, you'll see the name of the class at the top left. Most of you are in that class. This is an introductory class. At the top of the screen, whenever you click on the unit, you'll always have an overview of what the topic for the week is. It's always in this first little section here. It'll always outline the objectives. It's kind of what the goal is in terms of hopefully what you're going to learn throughout the week. And then there's a condensed list of all the activities. This is actually what you need to complete. And each of these corresponds to another section below. So the best way to complete the work week to week is just to work from the top of the page and work your way down. So you can read the overview, and then below that, you're going to find all of your assignments for the week. Now, below that is a link to the discussion board. I'm actually going to jump in there. I know someone had a question about discussion board posts, and I'll just show you a couple things to kind of help you along. Most of you have already completed your first post. So to get into the discussion board, you always click on the bold black underlined text. It'll say Unit 1 DB. If you go into Unit 2, there's a link. It'll say Unit 2 DB, so on and so forth. Once you click on the discussion board link, it's going to open it up, and anyone that's posted is going to be listed in the middle of the page. So you can see all the students that are listed here. Every week, you're essentially going to do the same thing. You're going to go into the discussion board, and to get started, you're going to post your own response for the week. So when you do that, that's called creating a thread. You're going to click on Create a Thread. You'll see your questions at the top. For this week, it was just a basic introduction. So just share what degree you're pursuing, what strengths you have, what you need to improve. Below, you'll always see your message box and a subject box. Quick tip on the subject box too. You can give it any subject title. I know students often ask, what do I put in there? You can put anything. Honestly, I suggest just putting your name, or to make it easy, since it's Unit 1, you could just put Unit 1 discussion board. And then in the box, you'll type your answers. Quick tips about that too. You do not need to retype the questions. When you're doing these, you only need to type your answers. But the basic requirements for the discussion boards is that you use full sentences and punctuation. So that's really the basics. It's good to stretch for at least a paragraph. You want to be thorough in your responses, provide some detail. And when you're done answering all the questions for the week in the box below, you'll then hit the submit button at the bottom right. Once you do that, it's going to take you back to the previous page, and you're going to see your name at the top. with the title of your post. That's how you know you're in. So hopefully that kind of makes sense, helps a little bit on how to create your own post. Some of you may have questions right now about how to respond to students. You may have not done that yet. That's okay. When you respond to students, you're going to actually go into their thread, read what they read, and there's a reply button. I'm going to show you real quick how to do that. So as you can see, we've got a lot of students here who've already responded. I'm actually going to pick a student. Actually, why don't we pick the instructor, because the instructor actually posted here, but this would apply to anyone you find in the thread. You can click on the title of their post. If you do that, it's going to open it up. It's going to show you what they posted, and below you're going to see what any responses they received. Now you can respond to anyone. Keep in mind, though, to meet the requirement, you do have to respond to 2 other students by the end of the week. Responding to the professor doesn't count, but certainly if they ask you questions, you want to respond. With that said, if you want to reply to someone, you just click the reply button at the bottom of their thread. It will automatically fill in the subject box for you, and then you can just type your response below. And just like when you do your own thread, there's a submit button at the bottom. As soon as you hit that, you're going to see your reply pop up. It's going to say published, and it'll stick there. It'll be right below the person's response that you're responding to. Now, in terms of how to respond, 2 suggestions. So keep in mind the discussion board is supposed to be kind of like a back and forth conversation throughout the week. It gives you an opportunity to demonstrate that you're doing the reading by sharing, your knowledge, what you're learning with the professor and class. And it also gives you a chance to learn from each other. So when you're responding, you can respond to something someone said, read through their post. Maybe you find something interesting you want to add your own thoughts on. Or you can just continue the conversation by sharing your own thoughts as long as it stays on topic for the week. So it can be anything as it relates to the topic, and specifically the reading. So if there's something in the reading that stood out to you, you can use that for inspiration, if you will, or as subject matter that you can share in your responses as well. So hopefully that gives you a couple ideas. As a student myself, sometimes if I had writer's block, I wasn't sure how to respond. You can read other people's posts to get an idea of maybe how to respond yourself. So feel free to take a look through there. I did show you how to click on the thread to get in and respond, but I did want to mention as well that you're going to see little red bubbles on the side that say unread posts. This keeps track of anything that you haven't viewed. You do not need to read everyone's posts. It's great if you can do your best to kind of get through and see how the discussion is going in each one, but you do not have to read all of them. However, if you click on any of these unread posts, it will share with you any posts you haven't viewed, and you can also reply from here. You can drop replies in here as well. So that's it. Hopefully that helps give you a little bit of an understanding of how the discussion board works. So we talked about that. I want to show you really quick the reading and resources section, because every week in each unit, when you click on it, you're always going to find a reading and resources section. This is actually where you want to start first every week by clicking on the reading and resources. In here, you'll find links to your reading and also your videos for the week. This is essentially where you're going to find all of your answers for your assignments for the rest of the week. So this is a good place to start. This will also help you answer the discussion board questions as well. Just keep in mind, whenever you're in the reading and resources section, this is true of any unit, there's never any assignments in here that you have to complete. This is only here for reading and for your videos. So you'll always see the blue links that you can click on. When you click on them, it's going to open up another tab and give you your reading for the week. Okay, just kind of show you what that looks like for those of you that may have not, had a chance to take a look at this yet, but it is only there for the reading and videos. So we talked about the reading section. We talked about how to then go and do the discussion board. And so many of you probably have already completed that. So I will just super quick touch on the last two things that are required for this unit for the week. There's something called an interactive exercise. So we suggest that would be the next thing to complete if you've already done the discussion board. The interactive exercises are kind of like little mini learning modules. I'll actually show you what it looks like when you click on it. When you click on the interactive exercise, it's going to open for you. You're going to get a message like this. You may get this if you have pop-up blocker on your computer. All you have to do is hit launch course, and then it's going to open it up for you. So this is what it looks like. Almost every unit in this class, by the way, has an interactive exercise. When you're ready to start the interactive exercise, you just click on start by clicking here, and then you're in. So this is the interactive exercise. On the left side, you're going to see your progress completion. It keeps track of that, and it shows you the different sections. The way these work are real simple. It's basically mostly a reading exercise. This one in particular is just going to share with you some like college terminology. Now that you're a college student, it's going to help kind of get you familiar with different terms you'll hear from time to time. So the way that you complete these is you just keep scrolling down. You're going to read through the different tabs, going to read through the different pages. As you get down to the bottom, you'll keep seeing continue buttons. Okay, so you're just going to keep working through the exercise till you get to the very end. It's going to let you know when you've completed it 100%. And then when you get to the very end of the assignment, I'm kind of skipping ahead here, but I do want to show you this because this will definitely help. When you get to the very end of these interactive assignments, okay, so this one's probably going to take you about 20 minutes, but every interactive exercise works exactly the same way. When you get to the end, you're going to get confirmation that you have completed it. It's going to say congratulations. In order to get credit for it, though, you have to hit the purple submit button. As soon as you hit that purple submit button, you're done, and you will instantly get 100. So it's not a quiz. You just have to complete it. And then once you complete the interactive exercise, hit the submit button, you're done, and you get 100 for that assignment for the week. So I hope that helps if you haven't done that one yet. And then there's one final assignment in this class for the week. It's a journal. You'll find that at the very end. So the journal is basically like a writing assignment. And so every journal has a different question for the week. So in order to complete the journals, you're going to click on it. You'll then see the journal instructions. And basically, it's just telling you a little bit about what the journal's about this week. Essentially, the journal for this week is you just have to answer this question right here. What is your career goal? And essentially, how are you going to stay motivated to reach it? So when you're ready to answer that question, you're going to click on Create Journal Entry. So I just want to show that again. So the journals, you're going to click directly on it. You'll see the instructions in the middle of the page. When you're ready to answer the question, just like the discussion board, you're going to click on Create Journal Entry. From there, it looks just like the discussion board. You're going to give it a title. You're going to answer the questions here, and then you're going to submit your answer at the bottom right. The journal, anything you submit in the journals is only seen by your professors. So it's not like the discussion boards. It's not for the entire class. You don't have to do follow-up posts, but the journal is just there. It's like communication between you and the professor. So once you're done posting for the week, you're done. You don't have to revisit it. You're done for the week. So that's it for Unit 1. If you've done the discussion board, you've just got the interactive and journal. And then one last thing, I know we're going a little bit long. We appreciate you bearing with us. Hopefully this has been informative, but grading. So just to cover that, because a lot of students have questions about, okay, I'm doing these assignments. How does the grading work? How do I find feedback? So we're just in the first week of class, but at the end of each unit, once the unit closes out, your professor is then going to go in and they're going to grade your assignments on Mondays and Tuesdays for the previous week. So once you've completed your activities, next week, you can click here on My Grades in the menu, and you'll be able to see how you're doing. Your professor is going to post the grades in there. And also in this My Grades section, you'll also find feedback from the professor. They leave little notes in there like, hey, great job. I like your thoughts on this. They'll give you constructive feedback as well. I can't click on this right now because I'm in a live class, so there are students' grades in there. But if you click on that, you'll see all your assignments listed, and it also gives you confirmation of anything you've submitted so far. So I hope that helps kind of explain a little bit more, as you're starting how this works, how to navigate the discussion board. With that, just to wrap it up, I'm going to pass it off to Anna, and we're just going to go over how to get involved, here at Post.
So before we do that, Tom, there were a few questions with regards to Blackboard. If you can reshare your screen for a moment.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Ludmilla was curious on how to access readings and resources. If we can just make sure that we go through that.
Yeah.
I have another question, another question after that, but let's look at the readings and resources first.
Absolutely. We can go over that again. I'll absolutely show that. And I'll give you two examples because it looks the same in each unit. But for unit 1, the current unit we're in, you always have to click on the current unit first when you get in the class to load the page. And then you're going to scroll down and you're going to find a section that says reading and resources. So any of these sections, anything that's in bold black text and underlined, it's a hyperlink. That's how you know it's something you need to complete. It's either an assignment or, in the case of the reading and resources, it's where you can find your reading and your videos. So once you click on it, you'll see anything you need to read. There's going to be a blue link to your reading. Underneath it, it'll tell you what the different chapters or sections are that you need to read for the week. But your actual reading will be provided. There's a link to your reading in there, and then any videos. And I'll show you Unit 2 because that works exactly the same way. So next week, you're going to click on Unit 2. To find the reading and resources, you scroll down. It's actually right the first thing you see, and it's going to look very similar. You're going to click on it. You'll see another link to your reading for the week. It'll let you know next week's, you just got to read chapter 3, and then you'll see a couple videos to watch as well for the week.
Perfect. The last question that we have before we go into getting involved and going into some open-ended questions, although I think we were answering a lot of good questions in here. When are the discussion boards graded? So Tom, do you want me to take that, or would you like to go over that?
Yeah, I don't mind since I'm in there. So the discussion boards are not graded throughout the week. They get graded at the end of the week because when your professor grades the discussion board, they're going to look at your initial posts and they're going to also look at your follow-up posts. So they're going to grade it next week. So for this week, we recommend checking back next week to see how you did, and you can find your grade for the discussion board over here. It's in your menus if you click on My Grades. When you click on My Grades, right now, if you were to click on this, you're going to see the discussion board, but it's going to have a little yellow exclamation point. It's going to say 0. The little yellow exclamation point just means that you submitted something and it's waiting to be graded. And then next week, you'll see a grade in there. I should mention as well while we're talking about the discussion boards. So I know we kind of went over this a few times, but you always have your initial discussion board by Wednesday, and then you have your 2 follow-up posts. But another part of your grade is to be active throughout the week. So you don't have to be on every day, but as a rule of thumb, we do suggest at least posting 3 or 4 different days a week. The reason why is that demonstrates to the professor that you're active and you're following up on the posts throughout the week, and you do get points for that, for just being active. So even with your responses, I actually suggest spreading them out throughout the week. So maybe you want to get your initial discussion board post done by Wednesday, and then do your 2 follow-up posts, say like Thursday or Saturday. That's a good way to kind of keep up on the discussion board and demonstrate that you're participating in the discussion throughout the week. One other thing too, while we're on the discussion board, is you can find more information on the discussion board by clicking on something called a rubric. Now I'm going to show you what that looks like because you're going to see a lot of them. A lot of assignments have these little blue links that say rubrics. What that is It's just a guide. It gives you details on what to include and how your professor is going to grade the assignment. So I'll show you what this looks like. If we click on the discussion board rubric, all of this, everything we've covered is actually right here. It lets you know about when you got to get your initial post in, when to get your follow-up posts, and what to include. If you go to the second page, it also lets you know the criteria, like what your professor is looking for. As an example, they're looking that you get your post in on time, professional communication, continuing the discussion, pretty much everything we discussed, but it's always going to be in here, and you're going to see these rubrics on a lot of assignments. So if you have questions about the grading or what to include, that's a good place to start. That's basically a guide that you'll continue to see on assignments throughout your courses.
Awesome. All right. Well, with that being said, I'm going to take over from Tom a little bit. So thank you, Tom. You did an amazing job. So I'm going to share my screen so we can go back to our presentation a little bit. And this right here, just so you guys are aware, this is our YouTube page. We are recording this session. We always record every single workshop. So if you ever wanted to come back and watch this again, if you're unable to attend a workshop in particular, everything is housed on our university website. On YouTube on our university page. So it's Post University Academic Success. I did put in the link again, but if you ever need access to it, you can't find it inside the Teams or you didn't take a screenshot tonight, we will be running this again at 7 p.m. on Tuesday. And I know because of the lagginess, I'll do a live walkthrough on the Post app so that way you can see what that looks like as well. But if you did want to watch some previous videos, you're welcome to come here. So let's go back to our presentation a little bit. Tom had mentioned about getting your work done early. This is just like that suggested outreach, like not even outreach, it's that participation throughout your week. Ultimately, everybody normally has some kind of social media. Some people don't, but oftentimes we are always going on to social media without even thinking about it. We want Blackboard to be your new social media. We want you checking it every day. So breaking up your requirements throughout the week will help give you more of a life balance as well as work balance and school balance. So if you ever needed this particular schedule, our advisors do have this as a resource. Ask for their structured week and they can send you an email with that outline as well. So I am going to go ahead and review our Getting Involved at Post University. We have a wonderful access point so that way you can be a part of our community here at Post. One in particular is our Facebook Lounge. So we do have our Facebook Lounge and online student lounge as well, which are wonderful resources to be able to connect with other students as well as even some of our Post faculty because they're also students as well. We do have workshops that are run almost daily. So if you ever wanted to know what that is, you're more than likely receiving emails, possibly text messages saying, hey, join us for this workshop. Again, they're not required, not mandatory, no grades, no attendance taken, but it's a great resource if you wanted some additional support and you are interested in the topic. The YouTube page for archived workshops. Now, we did review this a little bit. For the YouTube page, you have the link now, but all of our housed workshops are here so you can use that as a resource. We also have our calendar of events. So while we do have workshops that do go over much of our content here at Post University, they go over APA formatting, time management strategies, they'll go over participation workshops and much more, but they also have some fun. They've had karaoke nights. They've also done trivia nights. They really like to try and involve students so you're getting together. And it's an opportunity to meet your peers so you can even find a study buddy as you're progressing here at Post. For those who may be interested, we do also have the Council for Online Student Experience, COSI. This is a really great resource. This is also our student government. So if you're interested in being a part of that, please take a look at your student profile. You can look on this. On the main page, you'll be able to see all those different resources on your My Portal, or if you go into the app, you'll be able to see the student government and see other things as well. And finally, student clubs. So student clubs that we have, you can always, look on your portal to be able to see everything. So that way you have that availability as well. Lots of great ways to be getting involved at Post University. I thought I saw a hand, but we are actually at that point where we're now going to open this for questions and answers. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And for those who may have questions, you can raise your hand, or we can put more into the chat, whichever you're comfortable with. We'll be happy to unmute you if you'd like to ask those questions, but hopefully, I know there was a little bit of lagginess. I apologize for that if that's the case, but we're so happy to have each and every one of you here in attendance and being a part of here at Post University, really going for that academic journey and getting that degree. We're so proud of each and every one of you for taking that step. And as I do see if this will be run again, yes, this will be run again on Tuesday at 7. So please feel free to join us if you want a refresher, you just want to take a look at it again, or if you want to come chat with myself and Tom again. We love seeing our students. So something else to take into consideration. Not sure if anybody's aware, but we have here in first term advising only about 15 different advisors, and we have a caseload of roughly about 400 students each advisor. So we appreciate any kind of, grace you guys can provide us, especially during the first week as it does get very busy, but we will be sure to connect with each and every one of you. So hang tight. And even if we are not available, I do want to encourage you. Work with any available advisor for assistance. We are all one family here. We want to make sure you are helped in the moment. So if we are unavailable, definitely just let us know. We will be here to support you. We have an entire team. Billy, I see your hand raised, so physically raised. So I'm going to go ahead and allow your microphone. All you'll need to do is click on the mic and you can be unmuted to ask your question.
Actually, it's Virginia. I just want you guys know that you guys are great. I've joined a really, really great college. Just want everyone to know that Tom and the female is very great. They're there to help you anytime you need help.
I love that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Virginia. Very sweet. Anna, I love the female though. That was great. So, all right. I know there's a lot of information that we went over tonight, so I know there's a lot to process. Does anybody else have any questions before we wrap this up? James, let me allow your microphone. Give me 1 second. You can go ahead and unmute yourself, James. Go right ahead. It'll be at the top of your screen.
There we go. I got it.
Okay, there it is.
No, I mean, I'm James. I'm new to online, but I just started my classes, and I was wanting to know if we had any people in this meeting that has been at Post before. And I was wanting to know if they had any good advice for new people that are new Post University students.
That's a great question. I myself am actually a Post alumnus. I graduated back with my bachelor's back in 2017, and I'm currently going for my master's now. My best recommendation, as I had mentioned before, try to participate a little bit each day. And the reason why is because the week can go by really fast. So by staying ahead of things, you're going to be better off in the long run. So, and if you ever need support, reach out to your advisor and your professors as well.
Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome. Are there any other questions? All right. Well, with that said, we will be running this again on Tuesday at 7 p.m.
Anna, I will say, because we had a question about future workshops. So we're going to do this same one next Tuesday. I mean, absolutely. If you guys want to come, join again, absolutely.
Please do.
We love it. We understand this one in particular is kind of a hodgepodge. It's a lot of information, a little bit of everything. So we are going to be doing the same thing next Tuesday, but we understand it takes time to kind of absorb it. You're going to get invites to other workshops. In fact, starting next week on Sunday from 3 to 4, we have a new student workshop that runs week 2, 3, and 4, and 5.
And 7.
Am I missing one? Oh, yeah, and 7.
Actually,
we take a break 2, 3, 4.
2, 3, 4.
And then 7.
Weeks 5 and 6, and then 7. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. But you'll get that invite every Sunday starting next week from 3 to 4. That one, we just focus specifically on the week's assignments. And I like to say this too, because it's usually around week 3 where students start to need more help. If you're in a class called CIS 110 Digital Skills for College and Career, that's a computing class. In week 3, you're going to have a Word assignment. So we know that's when students start to have questions about how to access Microsoft Word. Again, we try to cover some of that tonight, but we understand it's a lot to absorb. Come to the workshop on Unit 3. We're actually going to talk about, on that Sunday, 3 to 4, we're going to show you how to download and install Microsoft Office if you don't have it. So if that's for you, if you think that's for you and you need help, definitely join us. We you know, most of the time we spend some time just to go over the assignments and help you throughout the week.
Perfect. So definitely join us. You'll see myself and Tom again. we're basically the leaders for this particular workshop. Sometimes we do have other advisors come in. We've had one of our adjunct faculty who teaches psychology come and join us as well, who helps out with the chats a little bit and just be there as the adjunct faculty side of the house. So she likes to join in. Her name is Camilla Watson. But so that's something that we do have here as well. And finally, I just hope everybody has an amazing first week here at Post. I know it can be a lot. There's a lot of information coming through. So as Tom said, please join us. We would love to have you again on Tuesday. We would love to have you again on Sundays. Please don't hesitate. Even though we will be reviewing like the weekly assignments, we'll also open it up just as an open forum. If you have general questions, please feel free to bring those forward. We'll love to be able to assist you. Okay. All right, guys. James, did you have a final question?
Well, yes, ma'am. So my fiance just I referred her, I told her about Post, and she's been working with Travis to get on to be a Post student, and she got sent a link to one of these meetings, and she just tried to join tonight, but it wouldn't let her. She had some difficulties, so she's wondering if she can, what does she need to do to actually get another link sent to her?
So she will more than likely get another email. And what's your, do you mind, what's your fiance's name?
Viana King.
Viana King. Tom, can you check to see if she's an active student? Is she active this term, or is she going to be starting in a future term?
James, I feel like we spoke. Yeah.
She wanted to start this term, but you know, they had to go through the process. She's already got her FAFSA and everything done. She was supposed to be waiting on Travis to give her a call back, but I don't know. I don't think she heard from him.
Okay. Well, we are still enrolling, so you should. Yes. They should definitely hear back. I wouldn't be too worried about that. But yeah, we can definitely take a look and follow up so we could get, you know, her advisor to reach out.
Absolutely. So definitely make sure if she wants to reach out, we have advisors here 7 days a week. So if you ever needed to get in touch with anyone, have them reach out, have her speak with Travis or even another admissions advisor just to ensure that she's connecting with someone. But we can definitely take a look into that too, just to ensure. But we'll do this again on Tuesday. So once she's officially participated in her classes, then she'll be sent those links. So I do find it interesting. I'm wondering if they opened it up a little bit, Tom, because if she hasn't participated or enrolled, that's a little bit newer for me. But that's okay. Even if she can't come this term or be enrolled this term, we will be running this every single term. So we'll be doing this. We'll be here to support. We'll make sure she gets that additional assistance. And then we will have the workshop. So on the plus side, she can always watch with you. So that's
and you know, and you know, it's finally nice to see Tom, because I talked to him over the phone.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I saw a couple of my students here before they had to run. I saw Melissa in here. So I'm excited to see everybody. It's also nice to see everybody's faces too. But thank you so much, everyone, for joining myself and Tom tonight. We appreciate you and being here. Tayari, did we have to complete any units today? So for this week, remember a unit is an entire week and runs from Monday to Sunday. So the week started on Monday and will end on Sunday for Unit 1. And then Unit 2 will start that following Monday. So this coming Monday will be the start of Unit 2. So make sure that everything is done by Sunday. And my recommendation as well, James, to stay on top of things, and for everyone else, once you've confirmed all of your stuff is done by Sunday, start your readings for Unit 2 just do not post anything in Unit 2. Wait to post until Monday, but this way you get a head start on your readings. You can start discussion boards, and you can even participate a little bit early on Monday or Tuesday, so that way you can be ahead of things. Micah, let me go ahead and allow your microphone. And you can unmute whenever you're ready and ask your question.
That my number?
I'm not sure.
Micah, did you still have that question? Okay. With that said, guys, we are over time, so we wanted to make sure we answered each question, but please feel free to join us next week if you do have additional questions. Micah, if you want, you can put it in the chat, Micah. We'll be happy to answer that for you.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, yes.
Okay, because I was trying to figure out how to unmute myself. I'm like, what is going on? So I got a question that was kind of really interesting. So I am currently taking early childhood education.
Mhm.
So my friend asked me, do your school do internships? And I was like, you know what? That's a good question because I don't think they'll do it due to the fact, I'm online and I'm not in that state where they're in.
So that is actually correct. For the early child education, there are 2 practicum requirements that you will need to take later on in your degree, and they will need to be on site. However, they do not need to be in Connecticut. You can find a site in your area. There is a process where you would have to get approval from our practicum coordinator, who will either approve the site or decline the site. But at that point, you'll be working with more than likely a career and programmatic advisor, or even possibly a first-year advisor who will assist you with that process to ensure that is set before that time comes. So think about different sites in your area. It could be a daycare, it could be a lot of different things. Could be a preschool, but as long as you are you can start looking now, but there is something called Handshake that we have here at Post University that you'll utilize. And again, these are conversations probably to have with your career and programmatic advisor, as well as your first year advisor when that time comes.
Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome. Great question. And just for everybody else, and not sure which program everybody's in, but there's also our human services degree. There are practicum requirements in that as well. It's the same process. You would find a location near you where you need a site approval before being registered for your class. There are no internships for criminal justice that are required, James, so that's all set and good to go. Darn, but hey, you could always take a look just for personal. That's something you can always do in addition in your time. Nothing wrong with that, but to get actual credit here for the practicum, there isn't one for criminal justice. For law, if anybody here is in legal studies, there is an option. You can either take the internship or you can do a class instead in lieu of it. So those are the only degrees that we require, the practicum internships, because of the hours that are required. But just keep that in mind. And again, talk with your academic advisors for additional information. Virginia, I saw a hand raised again. Or was it Billy?
Yes. Yes. My friend Virginia, she takes the criminal justice.
Mhm.
And she's hang on a minute.
Sorry about that. I was wondering, is there any other things that I need to do since I'm taking criminal justice?
Nope. So the only thing that you would need to do in your degree, keep in mind, everybody will more than likely have a concentration that they'll have to consider. You can start looking at those now. You do not have to declare right away, but it's good to be able to kind of see what you would like to do as far as your concentration. And what that is just a specialization within your degree where you can take specific classes for that specialization, but they are required as part of your degree program and they're incorporated into your degree as well. But criminal justice, no internships.
Okay.
I should say though, yeah, so for those of you that are still hanging with us, since we are talking about internships, and Anna mentioned, so she mentioned internships, we talked a little bit about, maybe like job searches. We give you access as a student to something called Handshake. It's a job search platform for college students. You have access to it day one. you can actually utilize this at any time. You don't have to wait till your final year. And I'll actually share that with you in the chat. So Center for a Career, and I'm going to put the link in there for those of you that might be interested. And so I just put that in there. I'll actually share my screen really quick and show you what this looks like on our website. So I put the link in the chat. But if you have questions about building a resume, a job search, or even an internship, and even if your degree does not require an internship, but maybe you're interested in looking for internship opportunities, because a lot of internship requirements just require that you're in school, you're an active student. We have a department called the Center for Career and Professional Development. They help with all of that. And so I shared the link in the chat, but you can find their contact information here. You can just email them. Hey, I just started. I'm interested in learning about internships, or maybe you're doing a job search. You know, I'm doing a job search. I'm in school now. Had some questions about creating a resume. That's the Center for Career and Professional Development. They can help you with that. And then right above that is a link to Handshake, which is what Anna mentioned. That's a job search platform. You can actually create an account there and do job searches as a student. So actually, I've had students sign up. They've only been in class for a couple weeks and they're already utilizing it. So feel free to check out that resource. A lot of good information in there, and feel free to contact them, you know, at any time.
And just to kind of follow up with what Tom said about jobs, you know, and that particular service that we have here at Post. When I was going for my legal studies degree, I was actually working as a paralegal while I was pursuing my degree. So it's actually kind of nice. You can apply your real world experience with your what you've learned at college. So that's always an option if you wanted to look to be in the area. You could say, I'm currently in college. I wanted to, you know, get into the field. That is something that employers do look at. So always an opportunity. James, did you have another question? I see the hand.
Yeah, yes, ma'am. So I was asking about that internship and stuff because I have a lot of family. I have a cousin that's a jailer. I have an aunt that's a sheriff. So I have a lot of family in criminal justice. And I was wanting to know if I could actually like go up to like a sheriff's department or something and actually like shadow somebody in that field. And
That's
also, if we did do that, would that be something that the college would actually give us credit for?
the credit part. I
I
am
mean,
unsure
yeah.
of. But as far as the job shadowing, it's always great experience, but I can't guarantee any credits. So what I would recommend is using Handshake and see if that's something that could be done. And we can definitely come back and speak with our leadership to see if that's something that is available. We can speak with our career and programmatic advisors. They are a little bit more adept with that. We can see about that, but I just can't guarantee that you'd earn credits for it. But it's still great experience, life experience, being in the field. It just kind of immerses you in that. So it's not a bad thing to do. Okay, guys, we are well over time. We appreciate all you being here tonight. So we are going to go ahead and end for today.